Hey guys, today we are going to do inverse Z transformation. That is, first of all we will look at all the inverse Z transform formulas, then we will do a couple of questions. And the methods that we will use to solve our questions will be partial fraction method and residue method. So first of all we will look at the inverse Z transformation formulas. Now guys, these are the formulas for inverse Z transformation. That is, we will use them when we have to convert xz to xn. Suppose if we have 1, then xn will come out to be delta n. Similarly, if we have z upon z minus a, then xl will come out to be a to the power n un. And similarly, the general formula for this is z upon z minus a to the power k. And here we will put the corresponding value of k that is given in the question in order to get the answer. That is the value of xn. Now guys, these formulas are very important and you should remember all of them. Now we will be doing a couple of questions in order to understand that how we have to use these formulas. So first of all we will do questions where we will use the method of partial fraction. And then we will do questions in which we will use residue method. Now in question number 1 we have to find its inverse Z transform. So first of all we will write Z to the power minus 1 or Z inverse in the denominator and we will rearrange it. That is, on doing that you will get Z into Z minus 1 by 3 upon Z minus 1 into Z plus 2. This is our xz. We have simply rearranged the position of z. And now we will apply partial fraction. But before applying partial fraction, guys, keep one thing in mind, that you will always have to bring 1z to the denominator of xz, that is over here. That is, we will write it as xz upon z is equal to z minus 1 by 3 z minus 1 into z plus 2. Please remember that you will always have to bring z to the denominator of xz before applying the partial fraction. And if z hadn't been here, then we would have multiplied and divided by z on the RHS. That is, we would have multiplied in the numerator as well as in the denominator, and we would have brought this part over here. That is, now keeping this thing in mind, we will apply partial fraction. That is, we will write xz upon z is equal to a1 upon z minus 1 plus a2 upon z minus 2, which is equal to z minus 1 by 3 upon z minus 1 into z plus 2. That is, we have simply put the value of xz by z over here. Now guys, we will solve this part and we will cut the denominators from the LHS and the RHS. And on doing that, you will get the equation as z minus 1 by 3 is equal to a1 z plus 2 plus a2 into z minus 1. Now guys, we will substitute necessary values of z in this equation in order to find the values of a1 and a2. That is, first of all we will put value of z as 1. On doing that, you will get the value of a1, which will come out to be 2 by 9. Similarly, in this equation you will put value of z as minus 2. And on doing that, you will get the value of a2, which will come out to be equal to 7 by 9. Now guys, we are going to put the values of a1 and a2 in this equation and find the value of xn using necessary inverse Z transformation formulas. Now on substituting the values of a1 and a2, we will get this equation. Now we will bring this z over here, that is, we will bring it on the RHS, and on doing that you will get the value of xz as 1 by 9 into 2z upon z minus 1 plus 7z upon z plus 2. Now guys, we will use necessary inverse Z transformation formulas in order to convert this into the form of xn. That is, over here we will use the formula z upon z minus a is equal to a to the power n un, and we will apply this formula over here also. That is, our value of a here is 1 and here it will be minus 2, because you can see that we have a positive sign over here. So in order to compensate that, we will take the value of a as minus 2. Now on applying this formula on this equation, you will get xn 1 by 9 into 2 multiplied by 1 into the power n plus 7 into minus 2 to the power n and whole un. Now guys, this is our final answer, that is, we have found out the value of xn using the necessary inverse Z transformation formulas. Now guys, an important concept to remember in this question was to bring the z on the LHS. That is, when we solved this equation and got z on the RHS, we had to bring it to the denominator of xz. Now guys, we will be doing another question in order to get a better hold on our concepts. Now guys, in question number 2, we have to find the value of xn. That is, we have to use inverse z transformation and convert xz to xn. But before applying partial fraction, we have to make sure that in the denominator of xz, we have z over here. But you can see that we do not have z in the numerator of the RHS. So we are going to divide by z on both the sides. That is, first of all, we will write 7z minus 23 into z upon z minus 3 into z minus 4. That is, we have divided by z on both sides in order to get z in the denominator of xz. So now we are going to perform partial fraction. That is, we will write a1 upon z plus a2 upon z minus 3 plus a3 upon z minus 4. Now guys, we will solve this and we will cut the denominators from the LHS and the RHS. On doing that, we will get the equation as 7z minus 23 is equal to a1 into z minus 3 into z minus 4 plus a2 into z minus 4 plus a3 into z minus 3. Now guys, in this equation, we are going to substitute necessary values of z in order to find the values of a1, a2 and a3. So first of all, we are going to substitute z as 0. On doing that, you will get the value of a1, which will come out to be minus 23 by 12. Now similarly, we will substitute z as 3. On doing that, we will get the value of a2. That is, it will come out to be 2 by 3. Now lastly, we will substitute the value of z as 4. And on doing that, we will get the value of a3, which will come out to be 5 by 4. Now guys, we are going to substitute these values of a1, a2 and a3 in this equation in order to find the value of xn by applying necessary inverse z transformation formulas. And guys, please remember this concept. That is, we have to put xz upon z even if z is not given in the numerator. And as in this question, we were not given z in the numerator, so we had to divide on both the sides. So now we will proceed and find the value of xn. Now guys, on substituting the values of a1, a2 and a3, we will get this equation. Now we will take the z onto the RHS. On doing that, we will get minus 23 by 12 plus 2 by 3 into z upon z minus 3 plus 5 by 4 into z upon z minus 4. Now guys, we are going to use inverse z transformation formulas on this. And guys, you must remember that when we had to convert xz to xn and we had the value of xz as 1, we had written xn to be delta n. Now in this question, instead of 1, we have minus 23 by 12. So we will write minus 23 by 12 delta n. Now for these two, we will simply apply the formula, that is z upon z minus a, which is a to the power n un. Now here the value of a is 3 and over here the value of a is 4. Now on applying these formulas, you will get the value of xn, which will come out to be minus 23 by 12 delta n plus 2 by 3, 3 to the power n plus 5 by 4, 4 to the power n and whole into un. Now guys, this is our final answer that we got by applying the necessary formulas. And guys, keep this concept in mind as it is very helpful in solving these type of questions. But you can do this question even without putting z in the denominator of xz. But on doing that, the working will become a little lengthier. So in order to prevent that, we have taken z in the denominator of xz. Now guys, we are going to do another question, that is question number 3, in which we will be using residue method. But before doing that question, we will first look at the formula that we will have to use in residue method. Now guys, these are the formulas that we will use while solving questions with residue method. First of all, we are going to understand what are zeros and what are poles. So whatever is in the numerator are the zeros and whatever is the denominator are the poles. So first of all, we will look at the first condition. That is, if multiple poles are not present, then we will use this formula. That is, we will understand this formula with the help of an example. Now let us suppose that we have z upon z minus 4 into z minus 6. Now z over here is the 0, that is this, and z minus 4 into z minus 6 are the poles. So now we will understand what is zi. That is, zi is 4 for this and 6 for this. That is, we will have to find the individual residues of the denominators. That is, first of all we will write this formula for z as 4, and then we are going to add and write this formula again for the value of z as 6. Now guys, you will be able to understand this more clearly when we will do a question. Now we are going to look at formula number 2. This also we will understand with the help of an example. Now suppose that we are given that xz is equal to z upon z minus half whole square. Now z over here is the zeros and z minus half is the pole. So now you can see that we have a multiple power of pole, that is z minus half to the power 2. That means we have 2 poles. So the value of k that we will use in this formula will be equal to 2. Now guys, whenever such questions are given in which we will apply differential over here, that is, we will write d upon dz and we will differentiate this part, and the differential order will depend upon the value of k. Now we will be doing a couple of questions where we will be using these formulas in order to understand these concepts clearly, and you would be able to easily understand that how you have to apply these formulas. Now guys, in question number 1 we have to find the value of xn using residue method. So first of all we are going to rearrange this. That is, on rearranging we will get z into z plus 1 upon z square plus 8z plus 15. On further solving this equation in the denominator, you will get z into z plus 1 upon z plus 3 into z plus 5. Now guys, you will notice that we do not have any multiple poles. That is, z plus 3 and z plus 5 are to the power 1. So we will use this formula. So now we are going to apply this formula step by step. So first of all we are going to see for z plus 3. That is, we will find the residue for z plus 3, and similarly we are going to find the residue for z plus 5. That is, and finally we will add these two residues. That is, we will add these two in order to find the value of xn. So first of all we are going to find the value for z plus 3. So now we will look at this formula and we will see that for z plus 3 we have the value of z as minus 3. That is, we will write z plus 3 is equal to 0, and from there you will get this. And guys, this over here, that is z to the power n minus 1, will remain as it is for all our questions. That is, we just have to multiply z to the power n minus 1 whenever we are finding residue. So now we are going to apply residue for z plus 3. Now on firstly applying this formula on z plus 3, we will get z plus 3, that is, we have used this part, into xz, that is this whole part, that is, we will write z into z plus 1 upon z plus 3 into z plus 5. That is, we have completed till this part. And now, as I told earlier, we will simply multiply z to the power n minus 1, and we do not have to worry about the power of n. And now we will look at this part, that is, z is equal to zi, and we know that zi is minus 3 over here. That is, we will write z is equal to minus 3. Now you will see that we will be able to cut z plus 3 from the numerator and the denominator, and we will simply solve this by putting the value of z as minus 3 over here. But this is not the final answer. We still have to add the residue of z plus 5. So we are going to again apply this formula for z plus 5. For that we have zi as minus 5. That is, we will write z plus 5 into xz, z into z plus 1 upon z plus 3 into z plus 5 into z to the power n minus 1, and here we will write the value of zi as minus 5. Now guys, we are going to solve these and find the value of xn. That is, over here you can see that we can cut z plus 5 in the numerator and the z plus 5 in the denominator. Now on putting these values in their respective equations, we will get minus into minus 3 to the power n plus 2 into minus 5 to the power n. Now guys, this is our final answer. That is the value of xn that we found out using residue method. Now we are going to do another question in which we will have multiple poles. That is, we will now use the second formula. Now guys, in question number 2, we have to find the value of xn using residue method. Now you will notice over here that we have a pole with multiple powers. That is, we have z minus half to the power 2. That is, our value of k will now be equal to 2. Now similarly, we will put this value of k over here and over here. And from that we will get this derivative to be of order 1. That is, this will be a first order derivative. And the value of alpha can be found out by putting the poles equal to 0. That is, we will write z minus half is equal to 0. From there we will get the value of alpha as half. So guys, now we are going to apply this formula in this question. That is, on doing that you will get 1 upon 2 minus 1 whole square, limit z to the power half, with derivative of order 1 as the value of k is 2. That is, we will get d upon dz into z minus half, that is alpha, whose value is half, to the power of k, that we found out to be 2. And we will simply now write xz, which is z upon z minus half whole square into z to the power n minus 1. Now guys, you will notice that these two will get cut and this over here will become 1. That is, we will further write this as limit z tending to half dy dz into, as we have solved these two. Now we will first differentiate z to the power n and then we will simply put the value z equal to half. That is, first on differentiating this you will get n into z to the power n minus 1 and we have to put the value of z as half. So now on substituting the value of z half in this equation, you will get 2n half to the power n into un. That is, I will write this over here again, that is 2n into half to the power n un. Now guys, this is our final answer that we found out using residue method. But in this question we used the second formula as we had multiple poles. Now guys, I hope that you understood both of these methods, that is partial fraction method and residue methods, and now you will be able to do all the questions related to them. Now guys, please, after watching this video, do not forget to subscribe, like and comment.